Today we pull out one of my favorites, the WellPro PPK20 GBBR, and there's a reason for this. We're replacing the flashlight that I've used for countless amounts of hours with one that is sponsored from Feyachi. They offered to send me one, check it out, and I think it might fit well on my PPK.
And with the WellPro PPK20 out on the table, it's time we take a look at the Feyachi WL25, I believe it's called. It looks like it comes with a bunch of different cool features. It's drop resistant, water resistant up to a certain extent. Got an hour and a half of battery life. It's got a range of up to 656 feet, which is ridiculous, and it's 1200 lumens. So let's pop this guy open, pull the PPK20 out. Really excited about this. I do hope it fits nicely on the PPK20. If it doesn't, I'm obviously just going to have to find a different replica to toss it on. I don't have really anything else that's like longer right now that I think I'd want it on. So maybe like an M4 or an AR style replica might be good, or like some sort of marksman rifle. But there's not a lot of space up in the PPK20. That's the only thing I'm worried about. So it comes with some M-lock and some tools. Oh, that's really cool. Look at that. So instead of the flashlight being rechargeable, they send you rechargeable batteries and a charger, which is cool. It looks like they're the 18650s. These are some chonkers of batteries. It even tells you a little, like, you know, charge. Full is blue. Red is not fully charged. This is your panel. They send you the charger, the flashlight, which is an absolute chonker of a flashlight, and obviously it's got the button on the back, so you can just replace the rear so you can use the paddle. And then I believe this is just to tie down the wire. I'll probably wind up using something else to tie down the wire, but that'll do. Let's pop this out the way and see what we've got. So obviously this opens up through the back. And then you have your batteries. I don't know if either of these are charged yet or not. And we'll see, is it flat side down? Let's try flat side down. It's probably the other way. It's very, very likely going to be the other way, yeah. Let's go the other way. Perfect. Toss this in. We'll just get a general idea of how bright it is for now before we test it at night. You can immediately feel the warmth on your hand. Immediately. That is a very bright flashlight. Okay. Awesome. And this is how you tighten it down onto your rail and tighten it back down. Here's your paddle. The paddle, I believe, can be removed. You can remove the rail attachment and attach the paddle via a M-lock using these guys, which is probably what we're going to wind up doing. I have a system in place. We'll toss the charger and everything aside for now. Now, I think what I want to do with the PPK20, let's get the original flashlight off, and then we'll dive deeper into how I want to install this flashlight. This is a chonker of a flashlight, mind you, so it might be a little difficult to get it on. I think that's the right size Allen key. This is just a cheap flashlight that I purchased. I used to run it on the shotgun indoor, and I got it because it has that strobe function. But you can already tell, like, this one is not as strong. There's not as much heat coming off of it either. And let's see. I think I'm definitely going to want the panel because I'll be holding it like this. I'm going to want the panel on this side. It's a big panel. But once we take the rail attachment off and M-lock it to the side, it shouldn't be too ridiculous. So let's do that first. We'll drop the M-lock off, and then we can figure out where we want to put the flashlight. Obviously, it'll probably be the other side. So it comes with an Allen key, and then your M-lock. We'll pop these off. I think it's just screws. They got to come all the way out. And we'll replace these screws with the screws that they send us, because these screws that come for the M-lock are just a little bit longer. That whole little piece just comes off. And to get this on and off of the rails, I think it's just like a snap-on system. For the M-lock, we'll drop the screws in. And then just remember, when you install M-LOK, you always want to install it so the shoe is facing downwards. So you see that, like, that angle, that positioning. That's how you want to install your M-LOK. We're just going to barely install those to start. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get the M-LOK on. Up. Then I can't tell if I'm going to want it on that upper side or the lower side. I don't think it can physically get on the upper side, because that like mock gas block is over here, so you can't really get the screws in there. But we should be able to get the panel on in this direction, which is where I'm going to want it. And we'll just make sure it's bumped as far up as it'll allow us to go. That's perfect. That'll sit super nice and snug. I don't really like how the wire's sticking out that far. Maybe we'll go further back. Is that too close to me? It's not terrible. It's not terrible. You're probably going to want something with a longer rail space, more than likely. But since I just don't have access to that right now, this will have to do. That is locked up in place. And then that guy's locked up in place as well. Perfect. And then that'll be right, nice and close. Honestly, with the grip, it might be even better, but that'll have to do for now. I think this is your on-off paddle, and then this one seems to be like a, you have to hold it to keep it on, release it to keep it off. For the wire, probably just go over top. And then we want to make sure that it doesn't get in the way of the charging handle. This guy will probably have to sit like here. That is huge. That is a massive, massive flashlight. Hold on. A little sip of coffee. Now, since there's no rail there, and I don't want it on the bottom, and I definitely don't want it on the top, we're going to take these guys that I've had lying around. I picked these up a little while ago off Amazon. These are just M-LOK to rail pieces, and we'll just use the really small one. Let's see, do we have an Allen key in there? It looks like we do. Came with a ton of Allen keys, a ton of screws, a ton of rails, and it really wasn't all that expensive. I don't know if these screws are all the same depth or same length. I think they are. But I've installed one of these before on a different replica, and these work great. So this is nice. It kind of allows you to, you don't have to really worry about, oh, I don't have M-LOK room or whatnot. I want to pick up some that take the the rails and turn those into M-LOK too, just in case I want to use certain attachments, certain upgrades and whatnot. And I think we'll try and keep this as far forward as we can for now. So somewhere like there will probably be our best bet. So let's go ahead and get our M-LOK installed. I'm thinking, I really like this flashlight so far, and it's going to kill me to do it, but I kind of want to do like a minor torture test. We'll see how water resistant it is. We'll see how drop resistant it is. We'll shoot at it a little bit, and we'll see if it can withstand up to the elements. So we'll drop these now down in place. Number one, number two, and we want that guy up in the front if we can. It's always difficult to get these in place. We just gotta twist it. Got that side, and then we'll get this side. So it's just applying the upwards tension to it that does the difference. And then I think if we just take this one and we tilt it on its side, it'll make it easier to install. Seems to do so. Perfect. And that's pretty low profile and out of the way now. If I pop this back off, and it does look like it's got an O-ring there, so that should help with the seal when it comes down to like getting it wet. We'll throw this back on. And then unscrew it. We'll try and fit this to the rail. I'll screw that guy down. Okay. Let's, for now, grab this strap, and we can strap down the wire. The right side's not a problem. But that, like, big grouping of wire up on the top, we're going to want to keep down as much as possible, so kind of just throw this up on top. And we're going to have to flip it. Cool. And we put it a little too far forward. Go behind it. Okay. So you can see the panel. It looks like this left button is the on, and it releases just to turn it off. And then this button in front turns it on, turns it off, turns it on, turns it off. It keeps it on and off. I do wish there was a strobe function, but in all honesty, that doesn't really look all that bad. It is very chunky up in the front, but I don't feel like it's like in the way of my hand and my fingers. You know? And then I just come back and I can... Oh, is that... How did I get that to... You saw that strobe for a second, right? How did I do that? Oh, that's... Oh. What? It does strobe? Look, the back one, like the furthest back, is just the on. Up front was what strobed it. Hold on. Oh, there it is. That's weird. I don't know how I'm getting that to strobe. Oh, I'm just holding it. If you don't hold it down all the way, that's weird. Is it supposed to have a strobing function? I don't think it's supposed to have a strobe function. I really don't think it's supposed to have a strobe function. What if that's just like a connections thing? I love a strobe light, so that's cool. All right, let's test this guy out in the dark, and then we'll torture test it. Outside with the setup, looking absolutely beastly. Let's get this guy all set up, shall we? Power down. And of course, light on. Damn, look at that. That's really not that bad, actually. That's pretty bright. It didn't fire. That is actually impressively bright. And then you can press this button and it just stays on completely. Then you've got the paddle that stays on only when you hold your finger. Got some serious distance out of that, and it does have a nice wide range too, so you could see pretty far to your right, pretty far to your left too. And obviously it gets brighter in the center as it would with any flashlight. So it worked, as a flashlight should, of course. Super nice, great light, easy to actuate when I needed it to, but I would like to see just how durable it really is. Specifically, let's say it found itself in the middle of a vicious rainstorm. Uh-oh, flash flood. And with all of that, we still miraculously have light. Turns out the elements are just but a mere joke for the flashlight from Feyachi, but how about a shock-proof drop test? And with some new scratches and scuffs, and obviously you won't be throwing yours on the ground, hopefully. Does she still work? She does. Back at the table after our fun little abuse and functionality test, obviously the flashlight is still bright as can be. It did handle the elements pretty well. We noticed there was no water on the inside of the battery, which is great. That means obviously it can withstand some weather abuse. And we do have some scuffs from the drop test, which is normal. I do like when things look worn in, so it doesn't bother me. And it can clearly handle a decent bit of abuse, which is important. Now, it's time and time again that you come across people who do spend lots of money on flashlights and torches. And for something like the Feyachi flashlight, it's affordable and it's not going to break the bank, and it works. You know, I get it. You have some of these mega companies out there that are releasing these super, super expensive flashlights and torches. And while I do agree a torch is almost an essential replica on any airsoft or real steel, it does not need to be a fortune to have a flashlight. This works just great. Just great. It's got rechargeable batteries. It's bright as can be. You know, I really don't think you're ever going to need anything brighter. Otherwise, you're going to wind up burning your hands off. The paddle is super convenient, super useful. And, of course, the fact that you could turn it on and turn it off permanently is super important, too. So, thanks for sending it out, Feyachi. Again, it can definitely withstand what they say it can withstand to a decent extent. I do hope that it can handle a BB shot to the front of it. I know that's something that you often see a problem with a lot of airsoft replicas, flashlights, and red dots and stuff. But you can use these on real steel too, they say. So they should be able to withstand a decent bit of abuse. Maybe not like a 700 FPS sniper, but for a majority of your ARs, SMGs, sidearms, and stuff, I don't see it being that much of an issue. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for partnering with me on another video, Feyachi. And for now, don't get lost in the dark.